Welcome to the Over 40 Alpha Podcast with your host, Frank Roberts.
We are live, and welcome to the Over 40 Alpha Podcast. This is episode number 171, and I'm your host, Frank Roberts. And today, I'm really excited because today we are going to talk equalizers. In fact, we're not just going to talk equalizers, we're going to talk Lebert Equalizers. And we're not just going to be talking Lebert Equalizers, we're going to be talking the Lebert Equalizer pull-up bars. And you may not even know what I'm talking about. In fact, you probably don't know what I'm talking about. But what I'm talking about is this contraption right here. The Equalizer, one of two. And we're going to have the person, the man, the myth, the legend, the innovator, the creator of the Equalizer on the podcast today. Now, why? You may be asking, why? What are you going to learn? What value does this bring? Well, the value it brings is when we are getting older in our 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, one of the key fitness attributes that we need to ensure that we continue to build is strength. Right? Overall strength. And sometimes we don't have the ability to get to the gym, right? Or sometimes we just don't have a gym, or the knowledge to use, and do maybe big lifts or what have you, or have someone who can teach us how to do those big lifts. But strength is still something that we need to build, whether it's strength, overall body strength, or strength endurance. And implementing the Lebert Equalizers is a phenomenal way to build some of that strength, upper body strength, also to hit muscle groups that we don't generally hit, right? There's a couple of exercises like the inverted row. We're doing a lot of rows from bottom up, but how often are we rowing, pulling ourselves up, like pull up or inverted rows, or how are we doing dips? And so on and so forth. There's a lot of ways that just adding a piece of equipment like the Equalizers can make a massive difference in building strength, muscle, mobility, just using our own body, right? Just using our body. Yes, this is a piece of equipment, but we're using our own body to build that strength. And so today we have Marc Lebert on the podcast. He is the creator of the Equalizers. And Marc and I go back many years, probably about 15, 20 years. But I've been using Equalizers forever. I mean, I used to use them for myself. I added them as a piece of equipment that I used at my boot camps when I started doing boot camps in the mid-2000s. This was one of the stations, or I would use one in one place, one in the other place, and they would be inverted pull-ups as a station, or we would do hop-overs, jump-overs as a station. And then when I transitioned into training fighters, strength and conditioning for fighters, this was a huge tool for dips, right? That's strength endurance, for pull-ups, for inverted rows, inverted pull-ups, for leg raises, right? For that strong core, and a whole bunch of others. I'm just giving you kind of like for leg up push-ups. I can't even remember. Descending push-ups. Like so many different exercises that I use with the fighters, and then also in my own fitness metabolic training. But now I brought them back, and man, are these humbling, because I have not trained in some of the range of motion or some of the planes of movement, right? I have not been able to do pull-ups or inverted rows or be able to train the muscles that are used for those exercises. So it's humbling for me. It's a weakness. Dips, weakness. And a host of other ones. The fact that I'm able to do L-sits and leg raises, man, that just takes my ab and core training to another level. The point I'm trying to make is, for us guys as we're getting older, we need to continuously build our own home gym. Whether we still go to the gym or not, we still need to build a gym. Should have dumbbells, should have kettlebells, should have resistance bands, should have a foam roller, but everyone should have a set of Equalizers, a set of these bars, steel bars. So you probably know them as pull-up bars, because these have been knocked off so many times. And you've probably seen some big fitness stars using them, like Frank Medrano and Paul Sklar. But today I'm excited because we do have the OG, the man who revolutionized fitness by creating the Equalizers. And today you're going to hear his story. You're going to hear what his top exercises are. You're going to learn about how you can implement these into your own training and how literally and truly this one invention revolutionized home workouts and will continue to revolutionize home workouts for men over 40, 50, 60 and beyond. So with that, I'm excited to have Marc Lebert on the podcast. There may be a link below where you can grab your Equalizers because one of the things that we were talking about is doing a couple of follow-along workouts. He already has follow-along workouts, but we're going to do, well, you'll listen to the podcast and understand, but imagine grabbing these Equalizers and then having a follow-along workout with Funk and Marc Lebert. Come on. Anyways, thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. Thanks for giving me your time. And now enjoy the podcast. Welcome to this episode. I'm really excited today because today I am joined by a true innovator, a true OG, a true legend in the fitness world. I'm talking like the person we're going to be talking to today literally changed the game of fitness, right? Created a product that even to this day, if you look behind me, you can see some yellow bars there that I'm using today. But, you know, not only is he this innovator, not only is he someone who had literally changed the way people train, but he's also a really good friend. He's also Canadian. So I'm really excited today to talk to Marc Lebert, the creator of the iconic Lebert Equalizer Bars and more. Marc, thank you so much for being on here.
Woohoo! Thanks, Funk. It's an honor to be here, and I'm excited to chat with you.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're an OG. I mean, you like I mentioned, one of the things that I've always wanted to do, and I keep talking about it, but I got to do it, is like I want to have people who are been in the fitness industry from, you know, way back in the day who still need to get their flowers because it seems like a lot of people forget, right? They forget who were the pioneers in this industry, online and offline. You're definitely one of them. But before we get into this, let's talk about how this journey started because I don't even know. Like, I've known you for many years. I've known you for like maybe 20 years, maybe probably like, you know, since 2006 or 7 when I bought Equalizers. What is your journey? How did you tell us how you went from where you were born to creating the Equalizers and even today?
Oh, wow. Yeah, long story. You know, grew up in Sarnia, Ontario, and like most Southern Ontario kids, loved playing hockey and played soccer, and I was really into sports. And my parents thought, you know what, you should go to college and maybe be a police officer. That was kind of their dream. They were both kind of institutionalized, meaning my dad was a teacher, my mom was a nurse. And so I went to Sheridan College and for 2 years, and I did placement with OPP Port Credit. And I remember being like, the guy I was with was amazing. His name was Kelly Wilson, and great kind of road officer, and we had a great time together. But I realized that police work was 99% sheer boredom and paperwork and 1% sheer terror. And I wanted neither of those. So I decided to work for a couple of years, and I went to the University of Guelph. And I got my BA in psychology. And, you know, I went there because I had a couple buddies going there and they just built a new weight room. So, you know, get together with my boys and lift weights, nothing better. And when I graduated, I moved back to Mississauga and I had 2 job offers on the same day. One was to work at Square One, being security, so I was going to be Paul Blart Mall Cop. And the other one was at a small club by the airport called Curzon's. I don't know if you remember that. Yeah, it was like squash and racquetball. And I vacuumed the floors and I signed people in and I did towels and cleaned the pool and worked a gym floor and did absolutely everything for $8.25 an hour. That was the going wage back then. And a couple of years into that, this is how, well, we'll call ourselves OGs, but this is how old we are, Fun. Back then, my manager, Karen, it's the only job I ever had at a gym. And she said, we're starting this innovative, new and exciting program. You're going to love it. It's called personal training. It didn't even exist back then. Oprah had a trainer, and I think his name was something Green, and it was becoming in vogue, and everybody wanted to get a trainer. I said, oh, this is great. I have people that I'm already kind of helping out on the gym floor on a regular. And so we started doing some training there, and I left there, started training people in their homes. And then along the way, I came up with the idea for the Equalizers, and I launched that fitness product. And that's been, 22 years ago. Never looked back. We have them all around the world, and just, that's kind of the journey.
Okay, so I'm gonna take you back, and I'm also gonna say a few things here. So OPP, for those who are listening, it's not other people's property. It's actually Ontario Provincial Police, and so that's amazing. So you went to school, Guelph. You went to Guelph, the
Yep.
Guelph Griffins. That's the
Yep.
university, and then when you left Guelph, you had two. This is awesome. It's like you had two job offers, the Square One and Curzons. And just like, I mean, you're 56, going to be 57, right? So
That's
like
right.
we're Gen X, and our generation, we understand, like, our parents were those parents, go to university. Like, all of our parents, they were like, go to university, go to university. Same with me. Like,
Yeah.
I was an athlete, and I got a scholarship, and my parents were like, oh no, you're not going on that scholarship. You're going to school. I'm like, what? Like, you know what I mean? I went on a scholarship,
Yeah.
but still, it's like that fight, right? Like, not understanding that, like, but that's cool. That's just where they were at. But yeah, I totally remember Curzons. Oh my God, I can't believe you brought that word up. Big up the Curzons, by the way.
Big up.
Um,
Great space. Yeah.
yeah, and so
It's
and
so
so
fun.
personal training, right?
Yeah.
So you were doing personal training, and then in home, were you like one of the only people in the? Was this all just in Mississauga, and you were doing it in Mississauga?
No, I was traveling all over. I would go to people's homes. So I'd get up around 4:35, be at my first client at 6. That was actually like in Orangeville of all places. So I would drive pretty far. And then I made this loop all the way back to Mississauga. And then in the evenings, I would teach at various corporate locations and at my own gym. So this is our second gym. We've been here 15 years. The gym before that is not too far from here, and we were there 10 years. So I've also been in the gym business for quite some time.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that because I think this all really interests. It's very an interesting journey, right? Because you said that you what was the driving? What drove you to do this? I'm just talking about the personal train now. Like, yes, you're like, what was that driving force? Because you went to school for psychology. You're supposed to be a police officer, and all of a sudden now you're working in the gym. What was that driving thing to go like to different people's houses and only be working for like $8 an hour?
Yeah, well, at the gym, I was only making $8 an hour, and they kind of made a critical mistake because they said this is a pilot program. The gym was bought over by Premier, so I think you know where I'm going with this. and they said it's a pilot program, and we're not sure if we're going to make any money off it. And I'm like, well, and so they didn't want to pay me anything. I go, well, I just sold 4 clients at $40 a session, 10 session packages. So I'm pretty sure you're making money. And so I was basically training people for free there. And so I decided that this is ridiculous and start training people in their homes. And of course, charge appropriately for that. Of course, like most trainers starting out, probably especially back then too, because we didn't know how much value we were bringing. We were coming to them and bringing our expertise and our energy. And just to answer your other question, the reason I fell into personal training so much was a massive love for fitness and training. And at the gym at Curzon's, people would see that. So when I wasn't working, I'd be working out on my own. They'd always come up to me, hey, how do you do this? What's going on with this? So I kind of fell into it.
I totally understand what you're saying. Specifically if you're training all the time, you're there, people are always asking you questions, and you just the love of that. Okay, so so you're training people in their houses. What comes first, your own gym or the Equalizer?
That's a good question. I had a small studio, and then from the studio, we opened up the gym before this one for 10 years. So I was in that gym for a few years. We were running group fitness. We had spinning and aerobic studio. We had the weights. It was like a smaller version of a Good Life kind of thing. And I was still doing all the PT at home, and that's where the inspiration struck me to come up with a home training tool specifically for the inverted rows. Here we go.
I have my equalizer. So for those who don't know
Yes,
what an
sir.
equalizer is, this is one of the equalizers, okay? This is just one. So I'm just bringing it out just so people see, because you might not realize what you may think of it as a pull-up bar or a pull-up whatever, but it's the equal. It's the very first. It's the
The very
OG.
first. Yeah,
So
yeah.
what was the inspiration? Why? How did you even come up with this? Like, what was the inspiration that got you to say, you know what, I'm going to create this?
Yeah, I was just driving home from a client's house, and um, I wanted to figure out a way for her to be able to do inverted rows. There wasn't a lot of equipment in her home gym. There was a chin-up bar in the door, but she wasn't quite strong enough to do chin-ups yet. So I just thought, geez, we had the old flip phones back then, and I called my buddy Paul in Hamilton, and he works at a steel factory. And I said, if I come over tonight, can we weld up a few ideas that I have for a fitness product? And he's like, sure. So I brought a case of beer, like a good Canadian boy does, and we welded up the very first equalizers. I found a picture the other day of the only picture I have of him like cutting steel, and I put it on a PowerPoint for a presentation I'm doing this weekend. But it was really cool to see. That was the genesis of it, and I just took that like really crude looking product equalizers around to my clients and just played around with the ideas. So I found the right height and size and everything.
Okay, so like, dude, you're this is like innovation, creativity, like 101, like what I'm still trying to dig into a little bit deeper. What like how did you even come up with that? Like, like, okay, let me make a bar that goes like this, that has some stands at the bottom. Like, what was going through your, if you can even remember, was it
Yeah.
you and Paul together? Was it just you going, I think I have something, let's try to do this?
Yeah, it was probably the beer.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, right, right.
um, no, I've always been a very creative person, and I love creating. So I'm an artist and I paint, and so getting my hands on the stuff he was building and getting underneath and doing those first rows, and then looking at it and going, oh, geez, maybe we could do some push-ups and dips on it. Maybe we can use it for agility. Like the first ones were actually welded together, so it was like 3 points. But when you did rows, you would hit your head. So I'm like, I need two separate bars so that we can use them individually and together. So yeah, the creative process was fun. Like that's my thing. I mean, I love that whole process.
I'm like you the same, yeah, for sure. Okay, so now you have this prototype, but you're using it. So it's your so and then are you continuously like changing it up a bit? Oh, okay, okay. Let's change this up a bit. Are you going back to Paul to do all this stuff?
Yeah, like we welded up a few times, a few different ideas, and then we landed on the size and the shape. And I tested, like beta tested in people's gyms and with my own training for about 8 months. And then I found the right height and shape, kind of one size fits all. And now we have taller ones and everything. But yeah, 8 months of just playing around with the idea, get proof of concept, and then we went into manufacturing, which the first 150 sets were built here in Canada. So we had a company build them. We didn't even have screws in the feet, so they came in these giant boxes because they weren't like, now they're like in a pizza size box. Yeah, so that was the size, that was the width of the box. So when we get orders online, we would only be able to fit about 3 sets equalizers in the truck and get it to the UPS or Pure Later and get it out to people. So it was fun, but we did really well with the first, like I brought them to CanFit Pro and we did the trade show and they moved really well. And I'm like, okay, I think we have something here.
What year was that? Do you remember what year that was?
Oh, so over 20 years ago. So it was 2005 now, so 2015 ish, 2005. Sorry,
Probably
2005.
2005. Yeah, yeah. Because I was using them like like the late 2000s. That's when I
Yeah.
started using them.
Oh, okay,
Um,
cool. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, for sure. So okay. So now we have this thing, and it's starting to blow up. Um, was it blowing up just with the trainers, or was it blowing up with customers? And then, like, what was the feedback? Because there was nothing like this out at the
Yeah,
moment.
that's a great question. So it was blowing up mostly with trainers because our focus was if we get it into the trainers' hands, they can share with their clients. And it was the world I knew best. So we started doing a lot of trade shows. I was traveling all over the place. I would also work early days, Facebook. I would invite people over to a Starbucks on Dixie Road. And every week I would be there for about 5 hours, and I would have trainers come in. I'd show them the exercises. The kids working at Starbucks thought it was crazy, and they all knew me. And then we would just sell right out of my car. So trade shows and my car, and then the early stages of the website. So yeah, it was doing really well. Canadians are a little bit weird in terms of like their buying habits. Like a perfect saying would be, when Canadians are thinking about it, Americans are doing it. So at CanFit, people would be like, okay, it's new, it's kind of cool, maybe I'll wait till next year to purchase. But my very first trade show in the US, I didn't even set up them yet. I was out in a tennis court, and this lady comes out, what are those? Oh, Equalizers. And I did some rows. She goes, I'll take them all. I swear to God. I go, I haven't showed anything else. She goes, I need to be able to do this on the beach with my clients. I'll take them all. So I sold 10 sets like that.
Dude, you said something that is so powerful. That is exactly the difference between Canadian, even to this day. To this day, Canadians are just, I don't know, let me see. Americans are like, no, give it to me, give it to me. That's why they're so ahead of the game, and the only people who stay ahead of the game in Canada are those who say, you know what, I'm doing this. Yes, let's, like, I always say, like, when I'm talking to my business people, I'm always saying, like, guys, you got to be the first. Like, fail fast, right? And that's what you did. Like, okay, this didn't work, Paul, let's go. Here's another 2-4. Let's watch the Canadians, Toronto Maple Leafs on TV. Let's figure this out. I can totally see that happening, because how many times as Canadians are we doing that? Like, oh man, we should invent this and we should invent that, and then it never happens because we're drunk or whatever. But you actually doing it is so amazing. And then so now you're in the US, you're in Canada, still doing stuff. You're in the US, starting to blow up. So what was that big moment? Was there a big moment? Like, I know, like, for me, when I started using these, I guess it was just because I saw them in CanFit. I saw them at Treadmill Factory. I saw them online, right? And I'm like, oh, this is, now for me, I use them for two reasons. First, I use them in my boot camps, because I used to do the boot camps down in the beaches, right? So I was like one of the first to do those boot camps. Ryan Shanahan and then myself, but then I had my own, and so these would be huge because of the pull-ups, right? Because of the pull-ups. That was my big thing. It's like, okay, good, because we have two stations. We could do a station over here for pull-ups, and I can't remember how I used the other one, but these would be so integral. And then when I was training my fighters, this was massive. Like, my fighter training, because again, like, you have like 10 fighters. Sometimes you set up little, like, stations, or you set up stations, and like, but being able to train strength endurance with dips and pull-ups, in a way they don't have to do these pull-ups or chin-ups like you do it here. Oh, dude, these were like, and then, oh my God, I forgot. Then the jump training was massive. Oh my
Agility,
God.
mobility,
Dude, it
everything.
was
Yeah.
incredible. Like,
Yeah.
to this day, every single trainer on the planet should have two or three of these.
Absolutely.
Like not even a question. Like, there shouldn't even be like, you should have some dumbbells. You should probably have these. You should have resistance bands. Like, there's
Yep.
certain things every trainer, whether you work
Yep.
in a gym or not, shouldn't have. And then every man over 40 should have one of these. And we're going to talk about why I say this,
100%.
because of the strength piece. But
Yep.
but okay, let's go back to the defining moment. When was the
Sure.
defining moment? Sorry.
Oh, it's such a good question. And, I've had it before, and I can't really put my finger on one specific moment, just like it's hard to put my finger on one specific, like, really bad moment. Let's start with that one.
No, I was saying good moment. Good moment.
Oh yeah, but there's lots of, like, tribulations when you're starting a company and a business, and you're putting all your money and time and effort and energy into it. One defining moment when you asked me that question popped up was I was teaching a class at an IDEA in Anaheim, and it was a Sunday morning class. And most instructors don't enjoy the Sunday morning classes because you're at a conference. Saturday night's a bit late. I get out there, my song and dance, I get jumping around like, like a crazy man, showing the equalizers, showing the other products. And this one girl, she's just crushing this boot camp I set up. And after class, she came up to me. She said, "I'm the head director of fitness for Chicago athletic clubs. I want to get these in all the locations. We have 12 locations." I was like, "Oh yeah, Sunday morning. I love it." Sunday, so those are the kind of wins that you live for and you hope will happen. And when they do, it's just so exciting.
Yeah. Now, what about Frank Medrano?
Oh yeah.
Because that was for me when I started seeing Frank using them. That for me was like, okay, this because I was always using these, right? But again, people when they've never seen this before, they're
Mm-hmm.
like, but then when Frank starts using it,
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, now like this ripped guy is
Yeah.
using these things. He even has his own signature ones.
Yeah.
You don't even have to like sell that you're used. Like I wasn't selling them. I was just like, okay, we're gonna use these. It's like, oh, cool, this is awesome. Like, oh, we got equalizers in here. Okay, this is awesome. Like Frank Medrano uses them. So was that a big moment?
Huge moment. I met Frank. This was kind of a big eye opener too, because I was mainly focused on fitness. So strength, like you said, muscle endurance, agility, mobility, all this kind of things I use with my young athletes and myself. I was still training as an athlete quite a bit at the time. I was anyway. So Frank at a trade show comes up with his girlfriend, now his wife, and he looks at them and he starts doing like a front lever and a planche. And this is the first time I've ever seen like true calisthenics in person. And I was like, what is going on here? It just blew my mind and opened up my eyes to all the other possibilities. So Frank purchased a set. We stayed in touch, and we've been together for probably 15 years now. Like you said, he has his own signature series equalizers and parallettes, and our biggest ambassador and just a great friend.
So let's talk about the calisthenics thing, because that was huge too. That whole movement was a big movement, right? Calisthenics. So for those who don't know, calisthenics, not the calisthenics that you're thinking about that we used to do in grade school, the push-ups and jumping jacks. We're talking like actual calisthenics that you used to do, that you do what are they, front levers and muscle ups and those types of things. There are actually competitions that are going on still. It's really big in Europe. I don't know how big it is in New York and Europe were the two big
Yeah, and
places, right?
California too.
And Cali,
California
yeah,
too.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So
huge.
that's a whole other like industry and niche, right? Did that
Absolutely.
Yeah, that blew up.
Yeah, yeah, it blew up, and you know what? I think you're right in Europe because like gymnastics is so big there, and a lot of people have a gymnastics background, never really went anywhere pro with it, but they want to still continue to train. Calisthenics is the way to go, and sometimes people ask me like, "Can you get, strong from just body weight training?" And I'm like, I haven't really touched weights in a while. You know what I mean? Like I just do body weight and boxing. That's my two things. So yeah, the calisthenics is crazy tough. We just ran a workshop here, a handstand workshop here a couple days ago, and I'm so sore from just practicing simple L sits.
Yeah, like that for me. Adding these has been very humbling for me, because one of the things
That's the word.
because one of the things is, in doing a lot of my workouts are home workouts, right? Like the ability to do it at home, right? And they're metabolic training. So you're not doing pull-ups, for 40 seconds of work, right? Most guys can't even do pull-ups, period, let alone for 40 seconds of work. But a lot of stuff I do is like pulling up, like it's the horizontal pull, but it's from ground up. It's not pulling yourself up, because there's nothing. Like what are we going to use? There's nothing to use, right? Also, dips too. Dips are another exercise that are huge for, I mean, it's the granddaddy of them all if you want triceps. And so when I got these and bought them and started using, oh my god, like I can't, like, it is so humbling, like the even inverted rows, because I haven't done rows that way, right, in so long, because I don't go to the gym. I haven't gone to the gym. And dips, I mean, like my shoulders messed up, so that alone, just holding an isometric hold is enough for me. But dips, and then of course the leg raises. My abs are like popping because of that, right? So those three moves alone, but the humbling, it's so humbling, eh?
So humbling. I just taught a course in Hamilton a few weeks ago, and the two things that always come out of the courses when we teach is one, I'm so humbled I forgot how hard body weight training can be. You get kind of into the machines and the weights and you kind of sleep on the body weight training. And then the second thing was the versatility. They're like, you just showed us 47 different ways to work the chest on these things. And they're just like, wow. So yeah, always the two things that come out of those trainings.
For sure. Okay, so now let's talk about I don't know which way to go with this question because I want to stay on the good positive stuff
Yep.
about what we can do with this, but let's go into like, okay, you have your equalizers, they're literally everywhere, but then when is it that you start to see that this specific piece of equipment is
Yep.
like showing up everywhere, but it's not yours? Is that
Yeah.
like is this a good transition point?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
100%. It was quite some time ago, about 10 years ago. Probably at that time, probably would have been good for us to really pour some gas on the fire. But we didn't expect it to, really change our business model that much, but it did. There's a lot of knockoffs, especially now after COVID. A lot of the manufacturers sell direct on Amazon, whereas before they used to go through distributors. So the price point kind of was similar to ours, but now it's very competitive. But the one thing they don't have is they don't have me and my brain and all that stuff. So most people buy them too. Like they don't realize because the knockoffs will never like they're just trying to copy a commodity, but they don't know that they're more than dip bars. They don't know that, like you said, leg raises and pull-ups and everything else. So that's our goal now is to really, and you were really instrumental in helping us think along these lines and the way we're looking at our businesses. Let's talk to everybody who has equalizers or real or not, and let's show them what to do with them.
100%. Like that's because the other day I was when I got these the other day, I started using them. I went online because I like follow along workouts. Like I love follow along workouts just because I don't I even use my own follow along workouts because I don't want to think. I just want someone to keep telling, but I want to be working out with them. I don't like looking at a demo and trying to figure it out. I like to follow along. So I started looking for follow along work because, by the way, you have to do follow along workouts with these. Okay, you have to. I'm telling you because when I got these, the one missing thing that I didn't have was like an actual you. Okay, guys, this workout we're doing upper body or total body or whatever it is. Okay, here's the timer or whatever we do it, and you are coaching us through. Because the other thing is also coaching someone through how to do the exercise. Because there is some technique in some of these exercises, right? Like there's some technique in inverted
Oh, so
rows.
much you can learn. Yeah.
Yeah, so like it's good. That's not a bad thing. It's a great thing.
Yeah.
But like just going on and watching like shorts or just watching someone do it,
Yeah.
like, okay, like this, and I'm talking me. Like I've used these in the past, but I haven't used them
Yeah.
in so long that I'm
Yeah.
literally a beginner. But if I had someone like you who was there going, okay, now we're gonna do the inverted rows. Okay, guys, make sure that your head isn't because I remember I used to have to say these things. Okay, make sure your head's
Yeah.
not too far over because you're
Bringing
gonna
it.
hit it
Yeah.
here. Yeah, exactly. Right. So those cues.
Yeah.
So I think that for me is like a game changer because if we get this into people's hands, like specifically for men, because we're going to talk about why I think men over 40, 50, 60, you think men over 40 should have a pair of these. And then being able to follow along with a workout that
Right.
will make them feel, good. And it's humbling, though, I'll tell you that much. But yeah.
It is. Yeah. Based on your advice, we shot that, and I haven't done a great job of getting it out there, but that 28-day equalizer challenge. So I go week 1, here's the basics. Let's really start to own these exercises and understand what we're doing. Week 2, a little bit tougher. Week 3, by week 4, and you get this too with your workouts. I had people messaging me going, that's crazy. I can't even do week 4. I'm on week 3 and I'm just going to stay there, So it's really challenging. And then we shot 3 beginner equalizer programs, follow along, and 3 intermediate and 3 advanced. So we're going to package those up and get those out to people. Yeah.
Oh, dude, this is a game changing. Okay, I'm happy. I'm so happy because I'm gonna be buying those beginners and et cetera, et cetera.
You won't be buying anything.
No, listen. Okay, so this is good. So I think. Okay, so now let's go into some of the best exercises. Let's talk about the exercises.
Yeah.
There's so many, but what would be like your top five? Let's say for strength, like five
Yeah.
exercises that you may not be able to get
Yeah.
with dumbbells or even with kettlebells or
Yeah.
even at the gym.
Yeah, my absolute favorite exercise with Equalizers is a kneeling tricep extension. So I could show you on if we went on there, but basically why I love it for so many reasons. One is it just stretches and targets the tris. They're always sore. My favorite email I ever received from a client was, Mark, I'm typing this with my elbows, you bastard. So kneeling tricep extensions are such a great pre-exhaust to go into dips. So if you're really getting good at dips, you can add a leg raise or other ways, just volume to make them harder. But if you pre-exhaust with those tricep extensions into dips, game changer. Then you can do ab work on the ground and then go into the tricep extensions because they also work your abs quite a bit. So those tricep extensions are just such a great exercise because I can superset it, giant set it. It always works. There's never been a time I've done it where I haven't felt it. And then, of course, rows. Rows, it's really easy to get pressing movements and quad dominant movements in our programs, but the rows, like you said earlier, what am I going to do for rows? So if we don't have a rope hooked up on something, we can get underneath the Equalizers. But what I really like with the rows, and I'll have to show you this one, it's our version of a muscle up on the Equalizer, where you're coming up with one arm and then you turn and then you press up. So it kind of hits all three planes. It's really great work for transitioning into strength specific for like grappling and wrestling and MMA. So the muscle up, we'll say, so we got our tricep extensions, we got our rows, we got our Equalizer muscle up. Then anything where you practice holding yourself up, and just even if it's just one leg at a time, teaching people how to scapula control, but B, working their core from the ground up. Because a lot of time when we work core on the ground, it's mostly upper abs, but from the ground up, hip flexor into the lower abs. And it can be as simple as just marching it out and pressing hard into the Equalizers. So there's that one. And then just for fun, I'll add something different. Bring an Equalizer down on its side and just because like you love the metabolic conditioning. So I like going through, feels athletic, feels fun, helps people move laterally, which they're lacking, and also with the Equalizers because you have to lift your feet up as well. So I think that was 5.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I love the tricep work. Actually, I did do the tricep extensions. Those were huge actually because so for men, usually it's easy for them to do bicep stuff, right? And what most guys don't realize is the triceps the bigger part of the arm. So if you actually work your triceps, that's where you're going to get that girth, right? The biceps will show, but the go is like you want that popping,
The
the
horseshoe.
sleeves popping, yeah,
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 yeah, yeah.
right. Actually, it's funny because in one of my coaching calls, someone asked me, "How do you get your horseshoe? How do you get those?" I said, "Oh, it's dips. For me,
Yeah.
it was dips, right?"
And
But
there's such a good chest workout too.
yes,
Yeah,
totally.
yeah,
So I love the tricep extensions, of course, dips for sure, and working up to those dips because again, it's like for me, I have shoulder issues, so it's being very difficult for me to do dips. But at least like isometric holds will start with that position and then slowly going down and pushing back up, right?
and I could show you some here if you want. But basically, you're right. Like for a lot of people who want to do dips, it's a quantum leap from leg assisted dips to full body weight dips. So first of all, just like let go of the ego and just work more on the level you're at and add volume to that. So if I'm doing leg assisted dips, I just work on my form, tuck those elbows back, really squeeze at the top, nice and slow descent, and just get that feel and rest and then go again and just get lots of volume and then move up to maybe instead of leg assisted dips, we'll do leg feet behind us dips and then eventually full body weight. So people like to rush dips, don't rush them.
I did do the leg assist dips actually. That's what I did instead because I realized I couldn't do full dips. So I did the leg assist dips and they were amazing because again you can make them harder just by moving the body the way your body is and how far back the feet are. So dips for sure, I love it. The rows, man, I'm telling you, like, I'm going to talk about that one exercise in a second, that muscle up, but just the different types of inverted rows, right? So, like, even the Australian row with the one bar.
Yeah.
Ooh, dude,
Yeah.
that's like it's a whole new. You feel like you're hitting muscles that you've never worked before, right? But of course, when you're only doing floor up rows instead
Right.
of pulling your body up. It's different, which is huge for us guys. We need to
Yeah.
be able to have that full, the functional movements of push pull. But pull is
Yeah.
not just pulling from the bottom up; it's pulling
Yeah.
from the top down, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, rows are such a fun exercise, that they're super effective, and you can target like rear delts or a little more biceps, that kind of thing. But you can, like you said, with the dips, just where I'm placing my feet. So if my feet are on the floor with my knees bent, that's one thing. But if I have my feet out straight,
Mm.
wow, the angle changes, the line of pull. So they're really easy to progress.
Yeah, for sure. And then the exercise you're talking about, I tried because you know who I saw someone do it. I think it was Frank Medrano doing it, where
Okay.
you with one arm and then you come up and you turn your body
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
push up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yo, that
Boom.
was
Yeah.
like I was like, okay, this I can't even freaking get. I could barely get up. Like
Yeah.
it's so humbling, but it's humbling to to the point where it's like, okay, I want to master that.
Mhm.
I want to be able to do that. So now
Yep.
I know, and it's exciting for, because it's exciting when you have something new and you know that you're going to be building different strength, different muscles are going to be hit. So you're only going to get stronger and better and faster and, and fill all of those weaknesses that we may have because we're so used to doing the same. And it's not just doing the same exercise. Like there's so many different row variations, but I mean, when you add these types of rows and muscle ups and all those different rows, man, it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible.
It is, and it's subtle when you have weights and kettlebells and those types of implements. You're moving them around your body, but when you have something like the equalizer, you're moving your body around the tool. So even though it's subtle, it changes up the way your brain is activated, it changes up the way the muscles are working, and it's a lot of core for sure. Everything
Yes.
we do with the equalizer, so much core.
Yeah, for sure. And then the agility. So I love when you said the side by side for sure, right? Because I like doing there's a couple of workouts that I have that we do stationary runs, right? And then stationary sprints and then maybe side to side sit. But then when you add this, now you're doing the like the football through the tires, right? Because we have to keep that agility. So yeah, the agility piece is really big with these because you just lay them down and you can literally just do. So, I mean, literally, that's one of the things I'm definitely going to do is a side by side agility, knees up high, and you're just moving from side to side because that gets your coordination, it gets the agility, it gets the fast twitch muscles, it gets the movement pattern. It's
And
incredible.
if I could add one more to that,
Yeah.
it's a really super dear to my heart kind of movement because my mom, God bless her soul, passed away because she
My
fell
condolences.
and broke her hip. And
Mhm.
for years, my brother's also a trainer. We're like, just do this one exercise,
Yeah.
just get moving again in other directions, and rather than just always shuffling.
Yeah.
And so it's really important as we age to pick our feet up and move in different directions because, at the end of the day, movement is your freedom, You got to be able to
100%.
move to enjoy life. So, yeah, that one's near and dear to my heart. Every time I do it, I think of her.
Oh God, well, and my condolences, and I love the fact that there's some emotion tied to that exercise.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
The push-ups too. So I remember the big push-up we used to do was the inverted, not inverted, was the legs up push-up. So I remember because when you're training fighters, I mean they do 1,000 push-ups, right? But when you put your legs up and try to do it's a whole different story, right? So again, I loved that I mean, there's so many different ways to do push-ups as well. Like you can actually do them on the equalizer to give you some depth, right? Yeah, and so again, another exercise, and then the other one was I like this one again. It's jump. It's the hurdles, the hurdle hops.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Even at this age, I'm like when the summer comes and I'm out there, I'm
You're a
100%
better
doing
man than
hurdles,
me.
side
Oh,
to side
yeah,
burpee hurdle hops.
yeah.
Man, I love
Yeah,
them.
those will get the heart rate up in a hurry. The cool thing about the equalizers, you can actually turn them on their side, and
Yeah,
so they have three heights. So regular height standing the way they are behind me, and then
yeah.
on their side, so a little shorter for hurdles, and then on the ground, so kind of a little bit more low level plyometrics, but at least it gives you something to jump over. It's nice to have the visual.
Yeah, no doubt. So yeah, so again, for me and for anyone listening, the equalizers are definitely something I 100%, like not even a question, everyone should have in their home. Like I'm not talking about trainers anymore. I'm just talking about regular guys. Like if you're listening to this right now, and because you know me, I always say we should always be building our home gym. Always, always, always. Because we all know we all got stuck one time, right? For 2 years, we all got stuck. And now we have learned our lesson. So even if you love going to the gym, there are some implements that I think every guy should have, and these are the ones.
You know what we should do, Funk? I think we talked about this before. Is like obviously, we'll put together a really good code for everybody to get their
Please.
own equalizers and stuff. But
Yes.
let's do the best comment or whatever. Let's do a free set for someone who's watching this and interested. We'll do a free set for someone.
Okay, okay. So there you go. So you heard it here. If you're watching this on YouTube, so I'm sorry for the people who aren't watching this and listening. We'll try to do something for you guys
Yes.
listening. But if you're watching this on YouTube and you want a free set of equalizers, you're gonna get two of them. Um, Comment below, and I will send this over to you, Mark, and you're gonna choose. I'm not gonna choose. You're gonna
Okay.
choose
Yeah.
who, and
All right.
and then we'll get you a set. But even though, even it doesn't matter. I think it just it's one of those things that with a code, grab
Yeah.
them,
Great
have
value.
them, great value. Okay, so let me just talk. Let me ask you another question about like why do you why I mean this could be a setup, but like why do you feel like these have literally stood the test of time?
Wow, that's a great question. Because they're great. I mean,
Yeah.
that's simply, they fill a void, for portable people, trainers that are portable. They're in their car, training out on the beach. They're a nice tool to have in and out easy for home gyms. They don't take up much space for the athletes, lots of variety. Literally, there's so many applications. We use them in the group fitness classes here every day in our personal training. So, yeah, just, they're good.
Yeah, they're great. How many exercises do you think you can do with two of these?
Well over 100. Well over 100. Well over. Yeah. I could show you 50 different ways to do chest press on it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Next question is, have you come up with any new, like, do you find yourself ever saying, "Oh my God, I just found a new exercise with the Libers"? Has that ever
Yeah.
happened in the last year?
Shoot, I did see, yes, I screenshotted a guy in Austria. I screenshotted two exercises he was doing equalizers, never seen before, and I'm going to shoot them and tag him. And I already told him that, yeah, those are fantastic. And
That's
you know what's
awesome.
really cool is sometimes you'll see them like in a weird place. Like I saw him in a salsa dance class once. So the lady, I reached out, I said, "What do you do with the equalizers in your class?" She goes, "Well, they love dancing, but they also want to get stronger. So we do a little bit of equalizer work and a lot of dancing." And I'm like, "Sure, why not?"
You know what? Now that you said that, and I can't remember what it was, but I saw something like that on YouTube where it wasn't an
For
actual
bar,
fitness
like a
class.
Lebert class. We
Yeah, it
used
was.
to teach a bar class with them. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Let's talk about mobility and
Mhm.
stretching and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
What do you think? How do you think the equalizers can help in that way?
Yeah, we use them. We used to do a yoga class with them. We do bar classes, boot camps, hit classes. But yeah, stretching, they're a fantastic tool. Everything from getting the leg up and holding the stretch to an adductor stretch to a chest stretch to lying on the ground, putting it on your foot and using it as like stretching straps, the actual equalizer itself. Great tool. And mobility work, there's lots of things. There's hip openers, there's the agility work. There's split squats. There's so many different things that we can use them. I could teach an entire. Actually, I'm going to be teaching at the city of Mississauga coming up fairly soon, and we're going to be doing 10 different programs, and three of them are equalizer-based programs based on mobility and stretching.
This is exciting because for me, I think this is something that's long overdue. I think the fact that the equalizers and you specifically, because the one thing that's always drawn me towards you is just you're amazing at coaching and teaching, like amazing at coaching and teaching. Just your energy. You always got an awesome smile on your face. So that's I think, and you and I are like we have this kindred. There's something going. My real name is Mark Marc Roberts, and
And
you're
don't change your
Marc
mind now.
Lebert,
Yeah,
right?
don't change your mind to funk now.
So it's like I've always enjoyed that. So that's why for me, I always wanted to see you in front more, right, of the camera,
Thank you. Yeah.
because I really do think that these are powerful.
Well, I
Okay,
appreciate you sharing us with your audience. And do you remember the first time we met?
no,
I think it was at Camp Pro. I had a booth, and I think I was just teaching a class, and you came up, and you were just so energetic and happy, and you got the equalizers, and you left, and we stayed in touch. And then I really I'm so super proud of everything you've done. You're literally like building an empire, and it's just phenomenal. Like just watching the growth, I'm very excited for your future.
dude. Wow, thank you so much. I didn't expect that. Thank you. I appreciate you, man. I definitely appreciate. Yeah, we're definitely going to shoot at least one follow along workout. I think, for me, my shoulder. So I'll be like if we do like a mini program or something. I just have to watch the old shoulder, but I'm all for like doing something, because I really do think that, you know, the more people get a hold of these or even have access to these, listen, you may even have access to these at the gym that you go to, right? And then it's like, if you had a video that showed you how to use them, you could just grab them and put them in the corner and start using them. You know what I mean? Like as a person going to the gym and knowing, and then also like I also find that like specifically men in their 40s, not as much 50s, but guys, if you're in your 50s, please prove me wrong. But I feel like when guys in their 40s are getting like they've transformed, like, so they've lost weight, they're getting stronger again, they're feeling fit. A lot of times they want to do these types of, they want to do a pull up, they want to do a muscle up, they want to do like, dips and all of these other strength movements. And I find that like having something like this, you can train towards it, you know what I mean?
100%. Yeah. Some of the higher level calisthenics moves, the equalizers are a good transition. Like the rows really help your pulling strength for pull ups. It's not exactly the same line of pull, of course, but the strength is transferable. Same with dips. You start to get good at dips, everything increases your bench press and your push ups. And yeah, so they're definitely a nice tool to help, bring your strength to the next level.
For sure. And I actually also saw Paul
Paul
Kudra, Sklar, right? Was he
Yeah.
using Leberts or was he using eight?
Yeah. We've been friends for a long time. His channel
What?
just, yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. He's incredible.
I know.
Yeah.
The two of them,
Yeah.
Medrano and friggin' Paul.
Between those two, yeah, I can't do half the things they do.
But it's
Somebody
so
messaged,
inspiring. It's so
somebody
inspiring.
messaged me the other day. They're like, "Oh, that thing Frank was doing, I can't do that." And I'm just replied back, "Yeah, that's okay. None of us can."
Yeah, the lever. I was trying to do the lever the other day. I was
Oh,
like,
yeah,
what's going on? But
yeah,
again, it's not like I don't ever want to do it. It's like, okay, I want to learn how to do that. Like
yeah,
imagine being able to do that in your late 50s or even
yeah.
60s or whatever, right? Like, the type of strength that you build doing some of these exercises, using the lever is just like, it's just going to transfer over to everything else you do in life, man. Like, you know what I mean?
100%. Yeah, definitely. Great life skills. Hey, being stronger in life is a good thing.
Yeah, no
Nobody
doubt.
ever said they wanted to be weaker.
Okay, but hold on. Now, you don't just have the equalizers, because you talked about that, you talked about some other stuff. So let's talk about what other pieces of equipment that you guys have that would be awesome.
Cool. Well, this is like a brand new one. This is coming in tomorrow into the warehouse. This is called the Pro Riser. And believe it or not, there's a patent on this 90-degree bend because this goes on the stairs. So,
Oh,
when people are on their stairs at home workouts and their wrists are hurting and sore, now they can do dips and push-ups off their stairs, and this just sits right on nicely. Of course, it can be used as a push-up bar. It can be used for all kinds of calisthenics moves and other things like that. So I actually have a bar here, too, that's really cool. This is our new resistance bar. And this is really great because I can do anything that, you do with a barbell, right? For example, if I want to do curls,
yeah,
right?
sure.
I don't have to grab a bunch of weights. I can just do curls
Oh,
with my
nice.
barbell, with my resistance bar. And it's got
You do
Yeah, I
presses?
can do shoulder press, I can do upright rows, I can do loaded squats, but it's got this carabiner that moves. And of course, like everything we build, it's solid. So this is a nice piece, comes with two bands. And the band work, if we shoot a video together, we can do lots of cool shoulder, like bulletproof your shoulder type
Yeah.
exercises before we do the compound strength moves on EQs. We got parallettes, we got gliders, we have all kinds of cool tools now.
Wow, hold on. I'm gonna go back to the band stuff because like I have resistance bands, right? Like funk bands. So are those? I know you. It comes with two bands, but let's say you have a bunch of bands. Let's say you have a yellow band, you have a bigger band. Can you attach those bands to this?
Sure. Yeah,
Oh
you can attach any
wow,
bands that you already have to it. And you
wow,
can attach, like, if you want to do deadlifts and you have a nice, thick, heavy band, you can do
yeah,
deadlifts with it. Yeah, it's steel,
wow.
so it'll pull a lot of weight.
Oh, that's very interesting. I'm not, my mind's going crazy now with that, and then the pair.
Well, make sure you get one.
Oh, those are amazing. And then the actual push up, that little the thing that you put on the stairs is really cool too. I think I like that because again, it's like sometimes people are regular do push ups, but then they just want that extra range of motion. But then the parallettes as well. That used to be a big thing I used to use all the time at the gym. I used to go to here, Bloor Street Boxing. They had a PVC set up for parallettes. But and again, for those who don't know, parallettes are like the smaller version of these, right? But there's so many other things you can do with them. So you have those as well. Man, this is great. Like that's so it's literally like a complete home gym that you can create with some of the products that you have.
Complete home gym. We even have a suspension style trainer, which originally I developed as a partner training tool. You remember back in the day, we used to use our belts, yeah, and pull each other, like with our black belts, and we, do resisted rows and abdominal rotations and stuff. So I developed something that you use with a partner, and it has a unilateral movement to it, which is really nice. So there's that as well. Yeah, complete home gym, everything you need, or even a small studio, because we don't have people sometimes, where's the treadmills? And we're like, no, that's not here.
Right,
That's not
right.
what we do. Yeah.
That's not what we do here. Yeah, I think like we got to think about longevity, right? Like and in longevity, meaning that you're training for the rest of your life. Like I always tell people, specifically the guys who listen to this podcast and the guys in my membership, it's like, and when new people come in, they're like, oh yeah, I want to lose weight in 90 days or whatever, or I got to get this nutrition or whatever. And the ongoing thing is not just me saying it, but everyone else. Like, dude, this is a marathon, not a sprint, right? This is a lifelong thing. The other thing is, like, inside of my program, I have three years of programming, right? So there'll be a time where, like, for instance, somebody the other day said, "Hey, Funk, you know what? I got something happened. Like they got sick for 2 weeks. Should they go back to phase 6 or should they continue into phase 7 or phase 8 or something?" And I said, well, you definitely don't want to go back. You want to go forward because if you go back, like in life, things are going to happen. You're going to go on a travel. Something's going to happen. You're going to get sick. Maybe someone dies. You have to figure that out. You don't get the full, training that you would have got. But we don't want to keep going back, right? And then I said, listen, dude, you got 3 years of training. You think if you missed phase 6, that by the time you got to phase 21, you'd be like, man, if I didn't meet phase 6, I probably would have been able to do these chest press. Like, no, that's not happening, buddy. You know what I mean? So it's like kind of rewiring the fact that, oh yeah, wait, yeah, he is right. Like 2 years from now, I'm going to be way stronger, whether I did this workout or this phase or missed half the phase or not. But then I also say like we want to be in the best shape of our lives until we're like 99, specifically now, because most people are going to be living till they're 120 probably now, right? You know what I
That
mean?
is what they're saying is should be our normal lifespan. Yeah,
Yeah,
humans. Yeah,
yeah.
120. Yeah.
120, but depending on which way we go. But I think
Yeah.
the way we go is like continuously building strength, staying healthy,
Yeah.
implementing new types of training, right? Like because that what that does, I think, is it challenges us to stay outside of our comfort zone.
Yeah, I love that you're sharing the message with men that, especially over 40, that like strength is not only something for aesthetics. Strength is the key to longevity. I mean, exercise truly is medicine, and we just don't say that enough. And I think the general public knows, but they got to keep hearing it from us because, they look at you and they're like, there's no way they're going to know you got a birthday coming up and it's 56. Not a chance. That's right. So yeah, it is. It's a fountain of youth. It's medicine, and it definitely insulates us from all kinds of diseases. And it's our best chance. Hey, you could get hit by a vitamin truck tomorrow, but if you're playing the odds, you got to get that cardio and that strength training in every week.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And I think that we also have to continue to challenge ourselves, which is why these are a new part of my training because I'm not good at it. So I'm one of those guys who like if I'm not good at something, then this excites me because now I'm gonna get. I know today horrible, but I know also 6 weeks from now is gonna be a whole different story, right? So I get excited. I like the journey. Like most guys want the results. I don't. That's probably a big problem with me is because my wife always says like you don't celebrate enough. Like I'll get an award or something, whatever. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's great, yeah. Or launch something, oh yeah, that's great. Because I like the journey. Like I like oh yeah, I remember how rough. Yeah, the girl. Oh, this was tough. I remember I was like this and this, and then this didn't work, and this worked, and like that to me is like. But I do have to take time to appreciate more. But the journey is what we're always on.
Well, it's certainly a positive attribute that you're always, liking the feel of the work and the journey and all that, rather than just hoping for results. You're always in there grinding. But I think she's right. Once in a while, have that balance of, geez, I've come a long way. Like even like from the outside, just me looking at everything that you've done, like I'm like, yeah, freaking
Yeah.
right, man. Go, go, go. And yeah, I think, you should celebrate. And I also think that a lot of people who are on this journey, especially when they're first starting out, it's sometimes frustrating and sometimes long, but you have to know and you have to like be diligent in the thinking that it's going to work because it works for you, it works for me, it works for anybody you see out there who is fit. It's consistency over time, and it will work. They have to realize it will work.
Yeah, it's impossible not to. Like it's impossible. I look at you and what you've done over these years, and like I said before, you are a pioneer in the fitness industry. You literally created something that was what's the word I'm looking for? Revolutionized. That's the
Yeah,
word. Like I can't like
revolutionary.
you revolutionize fitness with this powerful tool that continues to be used 20, 25 years later. Like it's unbelievable. And it's like and now it's like and now you're back. Like not that you were ever gone, but I think that the it shows that like you're the person who created this. You're now doing the training with it and other things. And so like because there's a lot of people who've created something and then they're just
Yeah,
gone. We don't and so that's just a testament to the thing that you created, the revolutionary thing that you've done in fitness, and you've been integral in my career because I've used this in so many different ways and in so many different
love it.
with so many different training partners and people that I've trained in the past and oh cool, I'm going to Funk because Funk's got these like here's the thing that trainers don't realize. Like if you have a specific type of training that nobody else kind of does or you have a style or you have pieces of equipment that other people don't have or don't know how
Yeah,
to use, that levels you. You're next level. Like people would come because they knew they were going to do this, and I'm not even joking when I say that. They'd be like, "Oh yeah, I'm great because I know that I'm going to be able to do leg raises and dips, and I love this class, and it's metabolic, and you've got all these things." Like you don't realize those things, but people love that stuff.
100%. Yeah, they're attracted to a bunch of things like your personality, your energy, your passion. But yeah, it's great to have some fun modalities and tools and kind of like I agree because you were really specific. Like you were training highly metabolic athletes, MMA. Like you had a very specific thing. But what's really cool about that is you attracted those people, but you also painted the outside edges as well. There's people who kind of want to be there. They want to train with you because of who you train. I think it's really important to have a good niche.
For sure. So, okay, we're gonna wrap up. What again? We're gonna give away a free equalizer at some point. Just comment, yeah, right at the bottom. Definitely. How can someone get a hold of like when they purchase your equalizer? Are they gonna get your workout program?
Yeah, everything's in the box now. There's even a QR code on the
Okay,
Equalizer. Yeah,
perfect.
so you just scan it with your phone. We have an app. We have videos on YouTube. We have Instagram, Facebook, all those other channels. They can reach out to us directly to set up trainings for their trainers.
Awesome.
You name it. Yeah.
Okay, and I do promise that you and I are gonna shoot a follow along YouTube video. So we're gonna shoot them here on
Yo,
YouTube. I'm
I
gonna come
got.
up to you. We're gonna shoot. No, don't even worry about it. Don't
I
even worry
told
about it
you
because
I'm cut like a bag of milk, buddy.
I'm not going to be able to be doing these.
Okay.
So we're good. You take you're training me, but we're training everybody.
Yeah, it'll be fun. I
Good
can't wait.
follow along, a good workout, and yeah, who knows? Maybe we got a program together as well in the future. Let's leave people with something. What the last thing before you tell us where we can find you? Is there
Yeah.
something you want to leave these guys who are listening in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s in regards to health, fitness, and the equalizers?
Yeah, I think kind of what we were touching on earlier is just stay consistent, not just with your workouts, but with your thinking. And I like this quote by Ralph Waldo Emerson: "Nothing great was ever achieved without enthusiasm."
There we go, baby. I love it. Where can people find you? Where can people find you?
Easy, LebertFitness.com. Lebert, just like yep, or French Canadian Lebert Fitness.com.
Lebert Leap, and then also Instagram, Facebook, same thing.
Same thing. Yeah.
Okay, Lieber Fitness. Mark, thank you so much for being on this. I
Thanks, brother. It's
appreciate
an
it. It's
honor.
long,
Seriously.
long overdue, and I'm excited for the future of the Equalizers and
Yeah.
everything that you're doing because I think you're continuing to change the world and change the fitness industry. So big up, brother. Big up, and thank you for being here.
That's our
Appreciate it.
plan. You've inspired me greatly, Funk, and happy birthday.